Hello. Hope you have been having an incredible day so far. My name is Vanessa Black, one of the owners and founders of Billionaire Ret, where we are on a mission here to impact the lives of billions of souls all over the world to achieve personal freedom in their life as well as financial freedom. And we're going to need you to be able to be that example of your shining light on a daily basis to make that happen. Your love and your light. So happy you are here. We are currently reading The Little Money Bible by Stuart Wilde, the 10 Laws of Abundance, and we are on law number 9, which is the law of honor, integrity, and abundance. In the last Read With Me session, we went into the law of giving and receiving and so on. So I'm so happy and grateful that you're here. Congratulations for continuing to show up, to listen in on these amazing, amazing chapters within this particular book. Can't wait to just continue to hear your feedback and your thoughts on, these particular laws and what's speaking to you most. What are your thoughts? Is there anything that you've been more aware of or, have been practicing? Super excited. In each chapter, he breaks it down to sharing the concept of the law, the metaphysics of the law, and then the action of the law that we can actually take moving forward. So really awesome how he's laid this out. If you haven't gotten the book, go ahead and go get that today. If you like to read and hold it in your hand, it's a different experience as you're reading and you're also listening. But if you only want to listen in and you only like listening in, that's perfect. That's why we're doing these Read With Me sessions. Isabel does a book on financial freedom every single month, and I read the featured personal freedom book of the month. Right now, Isabel's reading Your Next Five Moves by Patrick Bet David, which is a really incredible book. So you can go check that out as well. So let's continue to dive into this one. And just a little bit about Stuart Wilde. He's an author and international lecturer and one of the real characters of the self-help human potential movement. His style is humorous, poignant, and transformational. He is the author of 18 books that have been translated into 12 languages throughout the world. And his website is stuartwilde.com, WILDE.com. Really, really awesome. He's no longer, living on earth, his physical body, but we know he's here in spirit. And all of the books and the wisdom that he's left have been absolutely amazing. Another book that I love from him is called Infinite Self. It's a bigger book, but it's really, really phenomenal. It's like 33 laws to reclaim your inner power, something like that. Infinite Self is the name of the book, and also Life Was Never Meant to Be a Struggle. So those are some ones, just if you like this book so far, definitely encourage you to get. They're really, really amazing books. So let's go ahead and dive into the law of giving and receiving. In the last chapter, some of the key things, just to recap, that we discussed was, always receive money. So like whenever you find money on the ground, go pick it up, even if it's a coin. If somebody wants to pay for your dinner, your lunch, or somebody wants to gift you something, no matter what it is, receive it. Say thank you. Okay. Thank you, and receiving that. Make sure you're not blocking anything, and also sending love to people. Like that was one of the action or exercises he mentioned in the last law of giving and receiving, is practice as you're walking on a sidewalk or maybe in the mall or wherever, that when people pass you, you can, send love and light their way, which is a really great practice to be able to give. It's practicing of giving. So let's dive right into the law of this awesome one. I'm excited for this one. The law of honor, integrity, and abundance, page 85. If you have the physical book, and let's dive right into it. Here's the concept of this particular law. Talking about honor is tricky. It doesn't take much to come off as a righteous pratimus maximus of extreme positivity or pomposity and silliness. Here goes. I'll do my best and I'll keep it short. When you separate from your body and look back at your life and look back at life, nothing will have disappeared. I've been in those worlds via the trance state, the out of body experience, and the near death too. And what I tell you is correct. Although each one experiences their quote, life's overview slightly differently. You won't want to look at stuff if it's gruesome. If your life has been one of manipulation, inflicting terror, nastiness, ripoffs, and so forth, the moment of your spiritual overview is going to be an extremely painful experience, unless, of course, you change things now. You can metaphysically and spiritually rewrite your history by seeing your mistakes as lessons, understanding that God force is full of compassion, and realizing that each of us falls into the dark through our weaknesses and fears. So we can rewrite our history by seeing our mistakes as lessons. That's a big thing. Seeing our mistakes as lessons, understanding that the God force, which is within each of us, within you, within me, is full of compassion, and realizing that each of us falls into the dark through our weaknesses and fears. In addition, the people who have been affected by any darkness you projected had a metaphysical responsibility. They must have projected or sustained their own negative energy for you to show up, or at least they must have had options and they didn't take them. Of course, in the case of children who are abused, they don't have options because they are born into negative situations. If darkness has been a part of your life, you can perform a spiritual overview and healing while alive. First, you have to ponder your dark side and agree to let it come out as it usually repressed deep within. Then when you are ready, take yourself off for a couple of days on your own, someplace remote and quiet. Stay in silence and fast, meditate, and pray. Allow the impact of your acts to come upon you. And once you have looked at that, all you have to do is own it. That is, you will have to see how you are responsible. Owning it is accepting that you inflicted the pain on others, and you have to see how it must have felt for them as they became scared or sad because of your actions. Perhaps you killed them off because they lost hope. Or perhaps they died not because you killed them literally, but because you stressed them out so much that they passed away from other maladies. You use your 2 or 3 day quiet period to look at your dark side, to process and acknowledge your hatred and antagonism. You agree to come to an act of contrition and to atone. Contrition and atonement sound serious and biblical. One imagines balls of fire cast down from above while Sodom and Gomorrah burn in the distance. It's not quite like that because a universal compassion kicks in if you do it right. Contrition is feeling sorry for your stuff ups and owning them, and atonement is doing something about them. We all have darkness inside us. So you don't have to feel especially guilty, yet you can't get to the light without passing through darkness. The idea that you can escape it completely by just being positive is metaphysically unsophisticated. You can certainly avoid it for a bit, building light and energy as you go, but in the end, it is always there, and you have to tackle it one day. Rudolph called it the guardian of the threshold. I always imagine the guardian as a monster on your path who knew all your weaknesses and could play on them. It would eat you if you didn't have the courage to face it. Even the most saintly people have a dark side. If they say they don't, they are saintly people with quite a lot of BS and denial. And that of itself can be dark. Even Jesus had his 40 days in the desert processing his shadow side, being tempted, and so forth. As your energy grows and grows and you become more and more light, you have to come to honor and integrity, for the expanding light within you attracts the dark forces that hang around looking for weaknesses, looking for ways to use to their own ends the power you are creating. Now, people usually believe they have no dark side or that they have already processed it, but that is not often the case. Most have simply repressed their dark side deep within, so it's not obvious. Simultaneously with this process, you will want to be 100% correct in your future dealings with people. So all your future financial dealings must be honorable. You have to be completely fair and honest and 100% correct with people. Next, you have to have honor in your feelings. That means living in the truth and expressing that truth and not being covert. We are trained as children to use covert ways to get what we want. And so we don't see it as dishonest, but it is. Our world is very dishonest, and our leaders encourage dishonesty by setting bad examples, by lying, being corrupt, and using political sleight of hand to sustain power. People come to believe that being dishonest, covert, sneaky, and manipulative is normal. It is not. It's very dark. Being on a power trip is also dark. That power may come from your physical strength, or it may be a financial, political, or military power. Sometimes we become experts at wielding sexual and emotional clout, tormenting others with our control over them. Almost all power is abused. That's how we learn. We have to become strong inwardly and outwardly without misusing the power we have. It's very hard to get it right. And most of us err. Some lust for power. They get off and emotionally or physically they get off on emotionally or physically capturing others and maneuvering them. Bad karma. We are also taught to lie, exaggerate, and obscure fact. We lie by omission, seeking to sustain one image while living another. To the student on the path, all of these are traps and they have to be sorted out. For when you lie, it is to yourself. When you cheat, it's the same. When you manipulate, you are creating a prison for yourself as well as your victims. In the end, everything you do is to yourself. There is only the oneness. So all acts are self-infliction. Metaphysics. The metaphysics of honor are simple. You can't hide from the truth. So you have to let go, humble yourself, look at the truth, and fix the bits that are less than best. Each of us has fear, hatred, and antagonism. Each has cheated emotionally, financially, or sexually. We each have our transgressions. You rewrite your history by looking at that. Perhaps it may result in your suffering a dark night of the soul, but it will pass as you grant yourself forgiveness. Gradually, the power of the infinity within you bathes you in a new light, and you are made whole. In this way, you complete your act of contrition. Action. Atonement is the act of making good. So you go back and you pay off, if you can, the people you cheated. You apologize if you have hurt people, or you atone by charitable acts and good works. Perhaps you can't repay those you owe, so you make a donation to some cause from which they might benefit. Atonement is accepting full responsibility for what you have done without too many explanations and excuses, and realizing that you hurt people because you were trained that way as a child, or perhaps you allowed your fears and weaknesses to lead you astray. Then you vow that you will act lovingly and kindly to others for the rest of your life. You follow through consistently over a period of time, making good the hurt you have inflicted. I don't think it's enough to just feel sorry and say you're sorry. Sometimes you have to do something concrete as well. You can make all the money in the world and you can buy all the experience possible and live a rich life. But a life without honor and integrity is completely worthless. So, as part of your abundance affirmation and the setting up of a new energy in your life, include the correctness of honor if you have not already done so. Live your life impeccably on every front, financially, emotional, and sexual. And if you exercise power, be benevolent, very benevolent. What is the definition of benevolent? Let me look that up. Okay, so benevolent Benevolent definition. Well-meaning and kindly. Kind, kindly, kind-hearted. So, and live your life impeccably. So he uses some big words. So impeccable means with the highest standards of propriety, like flawless. Okay. So that was a deep chapter. Deep chapter. Even Jesus had his 40 days in the desert, processing his shadow side, being tempted, and so forth. As your energy grows and grows and you become more and more light, you have to come to honor and integrity, for the expanding light within you attracts the dark forces that hang around. Ooh. So this was on page 57. I just went back a little. So it says you have to come to honor it, for the expanding light within you attracts the dark forces that hang around. So as you're expanding light, it says that light within you attracts the dark forces that hang around looking for weaknesses, looking for ways to use to their own ends the power that you are creating. So through this process, from here moving forward, we want to look to be honorable and integral with all of our dealings, whether it's financially, emotionally, sexually, he says. So really deep chapter. Would love to know your thoughts on that chapter. Powerful. And that concludes the Read With Me session for today. That was law number 9, the 9 laws, or 9 out of 10 laws of abundance. And in the next Read With Me session, we're going to dive into the law of love, compassion, and money. And that is the final chapter of this book. How sad. But we can read it over, listen to it again. It shouldn't be read one time or listened to one time. I believe like every single time we listen to it, we can practice, we get better, we grow more, we see something different, and we're able to just continue to grow and get better and better. So I hope you got a lot of value out of here. Let me know, give it a like, give this video a like, comment, let us know your feedback. We'd love to know your thoughts, and we'll see you in the next Read With Me session. Law number 10, we're here, of abundance. We'll see you. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Take care.